conversations, and I know some of you are still just getting your meals, but we do want to honor everyone's time and move along with our program today. So at this time, I would like to turn the podium over to Dave Anderson. Dave is the Vice Chair of the Alexandria Public Schools Board of Education.
Thank you, Christine. Welcome and good afternoon, everybody. It really is an honor and privilege to be here today with Tom and Bill. I've known a whole life, and Mr. Elton, as we always used to address him down at Jefferson, and also Kathryn, a very close friend of my parents, and always a pleasure to see Kathryn. First, I want to just take this opportunity to introduce my colleagues. In attendance today, I have the privilege of serving with them. And these people I have more than the privilege of serving with. I consider them my family. They are just tremendous. I couldn't think of better people that we have in 206 to work with. And first I'd like, if you'd like to stand, please. Angie Krebs. Sandy Susay, Pam Carlson, and I have 3 board members that aren't here, and I just want you to think about them today. Dean Anderson, Al Ziethammer, and Jean Robley. They can't be here. And then of course I want to also have stand our Superintendent Julie Kritz, and what a pleasure it is to work with Julie. So, I want to thank you all. The mission of the Alexandria Public Schools is to achieve educational excellence and to inspire a lifelong passion for learning. To accomplish this, we need champions of our mission. One of these vital champions is the Alexandria Education Association. We appreciate the leadership and the vision the Education Foundation brings to our community, such as funding teachers, innovative classroom grants, and awarding student scholarships. And I just want to put this into, I had the honor this year of giving out diplomas at our Alexandria area high school, which I'm very proud of, but I'm even more proud to tell you that over 90% of those kids, students, went on for more education. I think this is a community is something that is just astronomical, and it says so much for our community. We value the long-standing partnership, and we're grateful for the support the Education Foundation provides to our students, teachers, and schools. To all of you who are investing in the Education Foundation and helping to fulfill this school district's mission, I sincerely thank you on behalf of the Alexandria School Board, staff, and students. Thank you.
Julie Kritz is our superintendent, and she is going to present the 2016 ACE Award. That's important.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Kritz, and as superintendent, I have the distinct pleasure today of presenting the ACE Award on behalf of Alexandria Public Schools. The ACE Award stands for A Champion in Education, and this annual award recognizes an individual or individuals in the Alexandria School District who support public education through advocacy, partnership, service, or donation of resources. contributions may occur in a single year or over a span of several years. Champions are selected for their deeds and accomplishments that have had a significant and positive impact on the students of Alexandria Public Schools. Our honorees receive an individual engraved award, and the names of the ACE Award recipients are displayed on a wall plaque at the District Wellness Center. It gives me great pleasure today to announce this year's champion in education, Mark Anderson, President and CEO for Knute Nelson. Mark has provided excellent leadership on the Academies of Alexandria Champion Committee as a health science and human service industry representative. He's been a key player in the success of our nurses assistant and home health aide, the CNA course, providing Knute Nelson staff to support authentic learning experiences for our students, and by also fundraising to equip what we call sort of a living hospital, complete with state-of-the-art patient care mannequins and equipment at the Alexandria Area High School. With that, in recognition of your extraordinary contributions to Alexandria Public Schools, and with our deepest gratitude, I would ask Mark to come forward to accept his ACE Award.
Well, I want to say thank you to Julie and certainly the school district and the foundation for bestowing this award on me. It's very humbling with so many great education leaders in our community. As I was thinking about this award, I was extremely grateful for the community we live in, so strongly education-based, the tremendous school system, the great school board, really outstanding administration, and of course, our tremendous teachers. Let's give those teachers a hand, because I see some of them, what tremendous work they do. I'd just like to share with you is, we talked, Julie mentioned the CNA class, and it's really about coming together in partnership. Is District 206, the Alexandria Community Technical College, and Knute Nelson worked together to ensure that we could have a CNA class in the high school. In fact, it's the very first certification program that somebody can achieve at the high school. So the important part about this is that if you wanted to get in the medical field, whether become a doctor or a nurse or a CNA, you're getting the opportunity to learn, to find out if that's something you really want to do, and maybe begin a career that way. So we're extremely excited about it. That first year, we had about 25 students get their certification. I believe there's 74 students enrolled in the certification program this year, so it's growing, and it's many people, or as many students as we can take is great. I want to really thank Julie Kritz and Chad Duhager and Meg Simon for their work. Greg Raisman at the Alexandria Technical and Community College, and certainly a lot of folks at Knute Nelson, particularly Ann German and Katie Perry for their work. And there's many others that contributed along with the West Central Initiative for helping with some seed money to get it all going. I also wanted to just share a little bit about the Champion Committee work, and some of the interesting facts is back in, I think it was 2012, I had the opportunity to serve on the Strategic Planning Committee for the school district. And one of the things that came out of that is we wanted to really have a personalized learning experience for students. So as we fast forward, I had the opportunity to talk about benchmarks at the last Champions Committee, or I didn't talk about it, but they shared the benchmarks. And I think there's some interesting things, and Dave talked about it a little bit, is that through the academy program, there was about 75% of the students went to post-secondary education, and now it's nearly 90% in the last class since the academies opened up in the new high school. So I think that's a pretty neat thing. There's less students showing, having tardies or absenteeism than ever before. And the other really neat thing is there's less students getting Fs than ever before. So I think no matter where you're at on the spectrum, we've been able to create a very personalized learning experience. And I know a lot of you in this room had a lot to do with the Academy, so I think everybody should give yourself a hand for all that work. Just lastly, I'd like to I'm probably speaking the choir here, but I just encourage everybody to get involved with internships or job shadows or mentoring or maybe presenting on class, because I think you're going to find it so worthwhile. I certainly have. And again, I'd just like to say thank you for all of you being here and bestowing that award on me. So thank you.
I'd like to introduce the other volunteer members of the Education Foundation Board that I have a privilege to serve with. As I call your name, if you would please stand, and let's hold our applause until all of the names have been read. Judy Backus, Jean Bristow, Dana Christensen, Tom Ellison, Keith Hession, Pat Kalina, Eric Carlstead, Sarah O'Kane, Craig Olson, Bonnie Schnell, Randy Winger, Jay Sealing, and Superintendent Julie Kritz. Thank you. And Craig Olson is coming forward now to share a message on behalf of the foundation.
Thank you, Christy. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's certainly a pleasure to have you out here, and thank you for joining us today. Again, my name is Craig Olson. I serve on the board of directors for the Alexandria Education Foundation. And before we get to the presentation of the inductees, I would just like to share a little bit and take a few minutes to tell you about the organization and what we do in the foundation. I was afraid Dave was going to steal a bunch of my thunder, so I'm glad you kind of stopped short of telling everybody what the foundation does. But we'll go into a little bit further detail here and just tell you. Again, you can see our mission up behind us here. Our mission is to support the educational goals of the Alexandria Public Schools. And we do that by partnering with the community and to fund projects outside of the scope of the school or outside of the normal traditional educational funding streams like the state and local tax dollars. So anything we do is funded outside of those tax dollars. We carry out this mission primarily by awarding innovative grants to the classroom teachers. Since 2009, we have awarded innovative classroom grants in the amount totaling over $160,000. These grants have increased learning opportunities for many of the classrooms in the Alexandria area, and they've impacted every building and every grade along the way. Grants have gone on to support creative projects primarily in the areas of engineering, core curriculum subjects, technology, and the arts. And even recently, as this last year, we funded, as you can hear with Mark Anderson, what he was saying, we funded some things inside the projects that have allowed students to get certificates now that they were not available before. So we're certainly doing some good things in the foundation. Last year, we awarded $40,000 in innovative teacher grants. By 2018, our goal is to grant $50,000 annually. And then our long-term goal to fund these grants for a teacher innovation grant program is to reach an annual level of $100,000. In order to accomplish this, we need to increase the foundation endowment. That's one way we need to do it. And our ability to support innovative, quality educational experiences in the classroom depends upon the strength of our financial resources, which is, again, many of you. Currently, the foundation is in the midst of a drive for our 206 Club. Many of you may be familiar with this, but what the 206 Club is a group of people who help support the grant program, and they do it by funding annual membership dues. And then some of these membership dues will go to fund these innovative grants, and then a portion of it also goes to the endowment fund. So it doesn't all necessarily flow right into the innovative grants, and it helps fund endowment for future years too. So membership in the 206 Club is the foundation's primary way to sustain funds to support all students. The educational memberships are due, so the annual membership due, as you probably guessed it by now, is $206. Currently, we have about 260 members in the program. Our goal this year is to increase that number to hit 300. We need your help in getting there. I encourage you to consider supporting the foundation work by renewing your membership or by joining as a new member and becoming a new member today. All you need to do is complete the pledge envelope that can be found on your table, and I'm hoping they're on your table. So if there's a pledge envelope on your table, that's one way you can help, either by renewing or starting a new pledge today. If you complete those envelopes, they can be dropped right outside the doors of the Broadway Ballroom in a basket out there. Your tax-deductible gift to the foundation directly affects the academic life of students both today and in future years. I encourage you to join me and invest in excellence today. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
In 2017, the Education Foundation Board of Directors established the Alumni Hall of Fame as a means to honor graduates or any staff or faculty member who has earned distinction or achievement in their chosen field. Anyone may submit a nomination, and nominations are accepted throughout the year. The award criteria and the nomination form can be found on our website, the foundation website, that is. Nominations submitted remain on file with the board, and they are reviewed annually for future consideration. All Hall of Fame inductees are honored with a plaque permanently displayed on the Hall of Fame wall at the District Welcome Center. The 4 outstanding individuals that we induct today will join an illustrious group of 27 other alumni graduates and staff who have been previously honored. The full listing is in the Luncheon program, and it's our treat to have some of them present today. For those of you, if I call your name, would you please stand to be recognized? Joan Larson, she was in our Hall of Fame class of 2015. I believe she's here, there she is. Marjorie Van Gorp, class of 2013. And Jim and Rich Hofdahl, sons of the late Art Hofdahl, who was a 2007 inductee. Thank you for taking time to celebrate with us today. Today we will all be inspired by 4 individuals selected for their outstanding achievements in career and community. As I introduce each honoree for the alumni class of 2016, I am merely going to provide some brief comments compiled from nomination forms or interviews. Each honoree has many worthy career accomplishments, and their community service is equally as impressive. If you have not already done so, please take time to read their bios in today's luncheon in the program. There are highlights in the program listed under each of their names in the program, and there simply is not enough room to list them all. Each honoree will have an opportunity to speak for a few minutes, and I know that that is what we are all looking forward to. Wayne Elton served on the Alexandria Public Schools staff from 1964 through 1993. He filled a number of roles during his 29 years of service. He was principal at Jefferson Senior High, the community education director, personnel director, and assistant superintendent of our schools. He has continued throughout his retirement to be involved in any and all activities with the school district and with many students. Whether it is sports events, including practices, fine arts and music performances, just visiting with young people in the community, or with employees of the school district, he has remained interested, engaged, and supportive. In the words of Barb Lehman, who nominated Wayne, Of all the people I know or have known at the district level over the last 45 plus years, Wayne is Mr. 206. Please come forward.
Well, first of all, let me assure you that this is an unbelievable experience for me to be given this honor. It's way beyond my imagination or contemplation. I feel very fortunate and blessed to have been able to even serve in this district for the years that I did. And without faith and family and friends, this honor would never have happened. The number of friends here today is truly amazing. My family is seated down in front and is like a life support system for me. Without them, life would be pretty meaningless. The old adage, behind the successful man, there is usually a successful woman. In my case, that's most certainly true. While I was trying to administer the high school, Sully was supporting me and running the household. And incidentally, in about 2 months, we will have been together in marriage for 58 years. I'd like to introduce to you my family members that are seated down here at the table before you. In this first one over here is my wife, Solveig, my son, David, his wife, Cindy, my granddaughter, Katie, my grandson Joe, grandson Jake, and son-in-law Larry. Over here to the other side, I've got Bethy and Johnny and Lily, who are Cindy's children, and I've got nephew Dan over here. And then I've got Lori and her husband Bard. So they are my life support system. Now, Hall of Fame can mean different things to different people. And so when I called some of these people, relatives of mine, I called Jake. Jake is 22 years old, and for him, Hall of Fame would mean something maybe different than what it would be for some people. So he says to me, well, Jake, Grandpa, what did you do? Well, he thinks, how many home runs did you hit? Or how many points did you score? Or how many majors did you win? I said, Jake, none of the above. I outlasted everybody. And there's one more truth and fiction to that, because my first official day on the job was supposed to be July 1st, 1964, when I say supposed to. What happened was that we came with our stuff, moved into a home on June 28th, and so I get a call from Art Hoffel the next day, and he said, well, Wayne, he says, your job is to begin officially July 1st. But you've got a lot of things on your table, a lot of things to take care of, and why don't we make your initial day of contract July 5th? So I think the only guy in history that got 5 days of vacation before he worked the first day. Well, talking about day one, got there, I presume, by 8 o'clock in the morning. And you can probably guess what I'm going to tell you. The very first person to greet me was Kathryn. And he told me the same thing that he told anybody else who came to the district. Do you know, a little bit of expletive, do you know how lucky you are to be in Alexandria? And he could have said, you could have been stuck in Pelican Rapids or Gilbert or someplace like that, he said. Well, that was the first one. The second person to greet me was Tom Connor. For those of you who have been here a while will recognize the name Tom Connor. He has a little different version. He says, after a pleasantry or two, he says, young man, you got a big job ahead of you. I found that out. Well, during those 13 years, I just counted, gave an approximation. I think I'd handed out about 4,000 diplomas. And I thought, my land, that's pretty amazing that we even, could touch that many people in that period of time. And, those kids that left went all different directions. We had people enroll at Ivy League schools. We had kids go to Notre Dame. We had kids go to Stanford. We had kids go all over the place. And we had those who either went to no education or maybe like a year at trade school. And so the old adage, the comprehensive high school in Minnesota, which is kind of a unique situation. It wouldn't be true in Europe or Asia. But anyway, so we educated them all in what we considered as good a fashion as possible. When families would come to town and there would be some new students, we would frequently ask them, why did you choose Alexandria? And the three most common reasons that I recall them giving were medical care, Bill, thanks, churches, and business climate. And I think if you would analyze Alexandria today, they would give you the same reason. I don't know about you, but do you know of any community the size of Alexandria that doesn't have a business climate like we have, and an attitude, and the medical care, which was great when Bill came through the system, is wonderful today. Well, when you think about a high school, you kind of can break the thing down into about 4 different categories. Obviously, academics. I mean, that is prime. And certainly you've got music, you've got athletics, and you've got drama. And we have continued, so have continued to try to be active in promoting and being involved with these different groups. And sometimes, for example, when the orchestra or the band or the choir is performing, after a while I'll poke her and say, in case you're wondering, these are high school kids. It's not St. John's, it's not St. Olaf, it's not Concordia. These are high school kids, and these people have developed programs that are, in my judgment, almost beyond imagination. I mean, athletics we've done also very well. We've done, I remember one a few years ago, after having a losing football season, they said, your athletic program is not very good, is it? Well, sometimes football is, of course, the prime, it's the kickoff for the year. They didn't realize that the previous year we won cross-country championships and golf championships and all kinds of them. This is a number of years ago, where at the last Central Lakes Conference meeting of the year, they would kid us and they would say, well, Alex, did you bring your U-Haul along? Because it's going to take to get all the trophies to go home. So we've got a great climate for athletics too, and dramatics. That would be the same thing. What they do on stage today is, in my estimation, unbelievable. Well, that's a little bit about the first part of my career, and then the last part of my career was primarily in personnel management, human resources. And so, I don't know if Nancy Thompson is here, but she worked with me in that area, and she was, if you don't have good support, you're not very successful. And what a job she did for me in organizing all the stuff that goes through a human resource department. And when you're through with your career, you look back and you say, well, what was an example of a good thing? And then you have to confess you might have a failure or two. So I would like to just say that when I think of Bill Flaig, that would be an example of success. He came in as a sophomore in the year that I was a freshman administrator. And so I followed Bill as he grew along as a young man, and I watched him as a football player. I called him Thunderfoot because he was our punter. And and he also became a good trumpet player. And you know what? I even watched him fall in love with LeBrasseur. Well, I didn't watch him. Kind of almost. But anyway, just a comment or two about the foundation. I was lucky enough to be invited to serve on, well, it was kind of a loose end of the thing. Claire Morrison was with me, along with Kathryn and Rick Dresden at that time was the superintendent, and it got going in 2003. Well, initially there weren't any term limits, so we just kind of graduated from year to year, and I think finally in about 2012, maybe Christine or somebody said, you got enough, you can leave now. So 10 years down the road. So once again, so proud of what the foundation has done. You know, there was a time when state funding was becoming less, and we needed to do some stuff. It was foundations were common for colleges, not very common for public high schools, and we got going on the ground floor, and you can see what's happened to the whole thing today. With that, I conclude.
As a lifelong resident, Bill Flaig has made significant contributions to the Alexandria community through his work and his civic involvement. Bill is a Jefferson High School class of 1967 graduate and went on to earn a degree in business and economics from Morehead State, and in healthcare administration from Concordia College, graduating in 1971. In 1970, he married his high school sweetheart, Barb Saar, and the two just celebrated their 46th wedding anniversary this summer. Bill's remarkable career as administrator of the Douglas County Hospital spanned 5 decades. He helped lead the hospital through challenge after challenge and several expansions during his 37 years of service. The hospital addition in 2011, which was a $31 million expansion, was funded through the hospital's own finances without any taxpayer dollars, and it carries his name, William G. Flaig Addition, in his honor.
Thank you very much. Wow. Let's give Christine a hand, okay? I remember Christine, you know, a long time ago, you're doing such a great job. You know, I'm standing up here today and I'm very thankful for a lot of things. Get a little emotional. First thing is the community, this room, all these people, all these friends, classmates, family, teachers. This is Alexandria, Minnesota. Connectivity between people. And as we all know, people are the most important thing in our lives. And the education system and healthcare and all of our works in our lives, that's the most important thing. And that's what Alexandria is really good at. I'm grateful because of the foundation and what they've given me in this induction to the Hall of Fame. I'm very humbled by that and very proud of that. I put it right up there with the top accomplishment. I mean that. I'm very thankful for also being on a list of inductees that are so important to me. Mr. Wayne Elton, I really appreciate the comments, Wayne, very much, is a friend of mine. And I do remember back when we both started at Jefferson Senior High School in 1964, me being a sophomore, and as Wayne would say, he was a freshman principal. And he was a friend of the students, Wayne, and I mean that. I did go into his office once with a few of the guys. And it had nothing to do with those turkeys. or the horse. And you know what I'm talking about, right? But we came out of that room with this new principal, because nobody really knew what kind of guy this was. You know, the old principals, everybody knew, you know, new person. We came out and I remember saying, what a great guy. And I mean that way, very much so. I'm honored to be up here with you. Katie LeBrasseur is a friend. As I said last night, she knew me before I knew myself. And that's true. I don't think you were one of those that changed my pants though, right? Came back in 1973 thinking I'm a big shot here, assistant administrator, come down the hallway. First volunteer comes up to me and said, "You're Daryl Flaig's son, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." "Adeline's boy." "Yeah." "I changed your pants." Talk about humble. That's what happens when you're, grow up in your community like this. Katie, I'm honored to be up here with you. She, of course, is Mrs. Alexandria. Sarah Carlson named her that. I was there, and the late Dan Ness was in the room. My wife was there. Mrs. Alexandria, there she is. Appreciate your friendship, Kathryn. Now, my son Tom, now what a blessing this is, right? My son being up here, of course, didn't take him as long as me. Now, Tom's accomplished a lot of things, And you look at the list of things, how can you not be proud? But I'm mostly proud of him as a person, a kind,
For someone that comes back to this community, has been away for a little bit, as I have been, it is remarkable to see some things at the hospital that continue to go so well and is such a great resource for this community. To see that wonderful high school. I met with the students in the Academy of Health and Human Services, and it's just wonderful. I went around the class and asked what each individual student was thinking about. I'm interested in nursing or dentistry or medicine or physical therapy. And to see the school reach out in a way they can hit on that interest and support it in an early stage, I think is really a neat and a wonderful thing. So it speaks so well to this community. I think back to my own high school experience. I graduated in 1991. So many fond memories. Clearly, the academic foundation I got to go on to college and medical school and somehow become a faculty member at a university and do the things I've done was really the basis of what I learned here. The work ethic I got, the foundation I got from all of my teachers. Other things were very important as well. We were fortunate enough, John Anderson was our band teacher. We had a great marching band. We went to the Rose Bowl Parade. Truly a remarkable experience, which I remember being so proud at that time to represent this community. We weren't exactly sure. I think it was about 400 or 500 million people that watched that parade around the world. So that's more than we have in the United States of America. So I remember the pride I had in doing that. I saw a few friends here today. Obviously, another very important thing for me in high school was the singing. I remember the time I tried to quit singing. Ninth grade, I think I was going to take too many science classes or something. And Mr. Dietz, who's the director then, still the director, said, he held me after choir and said, "You can't quit. Nope, you have to stay in music. He said, sometimes you're going to need this in your life." And he couldn't have been more true. I think the balance of what I received in Alexandria, it's great education, great academics, but the fact that music is still a part of my life, I still sing in church, and the fact that I'm still, to some degree, athletic and jog occasionally, has been a really important part of what's helped me to do the things I've done in my life. As was mentioned, I've been very fortunate in my career. At this point, I'm a practicing physician. I can see patients every week in oncology. I enjoy that. I'm able to do some teaching. I enjoy that part. I'm able to do a little bit of administration, and then some research on the side. So I have been very fortunate to have a career that lets me to do so many different things and hopefully impact people in a variety of ways. So I'm not going to make extended comments beyond that. I'd like to say I'm really honored. It means so much to do this. It means a lot to be here with my father and other people whom I've met. My parents are very important to me. I love them and respect them very much. In some ways, somebody recently pointed out to me, so they said, "Well, you're doing some teaching, aren't you?" I said, "I'd love to teach." In fact, the teaching things they do mean a lot to me. It's still lecture. They said, "That new job, you're sort of working for the hospital now, aren't you? The chief research officer, I have to..." They said, "Well, you've sort of done what your parents did. You're in hospital administration and teaching." And I couldn't imagine a better place for me to land. So thanks so much, and thank you for this honor.
Kathryn Leroy LeBrasseur has a heart for this community and her roots run deep. As a third-generation Alexandrian, her paternal grandfather owned H.A. Leroy Hardware, where U.S. Bank now stands. Her father was born in Alexandria in 1898 and graduated from Alexandria High School in 1917. Kathryn grew up on 6th Avenue, across the street from the former Washington School, where her father raised harness horses. She graduated from Central High School in 1948 and still meets once a month with about 20 of her classmates that still live in the area. Kathryn has given a lifetime of her time, talents for this community. She has been an advocate for the elderly, for women, for the arts, and for education. She has been a leader in her community, her church, and her local government. She has mentored and inspired hundreds of children in communities throughout Minnesota. And she credits much of her success to the opportunities that she was given right here in Alexandria. Please come forward, Kathryn.
You can relax. I didn't know I was going to be speaking. we've done nothing for 2 days but talk about ourselves. And so it's kind of really fun to keep sharing and have the memories come back. I don't think it's quite fair. I am proud to be here with Bill and Wayne. But if I'd known I was going to follow Tom and that resume, I wouldn't have felt I dared even accept the award. What a boy, what a product of generations, at least the third generation here. So thank you for the honor. I wouldn't talk except Eric is proud that I'm getting him out of school. And so I'm going to say a few words. I have my son Paul here, my grandson Eric, my daughter-in-law Lori, not Paul's wife, but James is off making a living. That's what happens when you get in those age groups. And in from California, I don't know, that's how I know this relationship. My first cousin once removed, Bob Kilty and Cindy. And I just think it's wonderful. They're here for just a few weeks. And Hesham's kind of dragged them, I think, but I got family here. One of the questions we've been asked repeatedly these last 2 days is, what do you consider your main accomplishment? And I have to say that I feel that my greatest gift has been the ability to enable people to realize their dreams. That's a long trail of popcorn and spaghetti dinners, but it's been a role that I've enjoyed. I've always had people to share my dreams and goals. And I look at my 7th graders in Alaska who wanted to build a log cabin in Alaska land because they wanted something permanent. Their folks were on the slope making big money, and they were staying in homes like foster children, so to speak, and they wanted something they could touch. So the Board of Alaska Land gave us permission. I enabled them because I helped them sell the popcorn, and I hauled the lumber because I had a big station wagon. They learned how to do it, and they built it, and they taught me about permafrost and a lot of different things. I think of teaching in a Catholic school where with popcorn and spaghetti, we had to raise enough the 9th grade boys to pay for a basketball coach and buy uniforms, because then they could be part of the city league. And then I came back here. Never dreamt that I wouldn't be working with youth. And in fact, it kind of floors me that I'm being recognized for my work with seniors, except my Girl Scouts are now seniors. So, you know, I guess it worked out the way it was supposed to. But once again, it was purely a matter of popcorn and spaghetti dinners on a countywide basis for the seniors to do tremendous things like create programs, build centers. Just fantastic to spot the needs, find a cure. I've had a lot of awards this past year. When you reach 86 and you're mobile, they think you ought to be recognized. And so I generally am the recipient to reflect in the glory of what many others have done. And that's been a wonderful experience. But you know, with this one, I started 1st grade at Washington School the first day that school opened. Johnny Plexus was a janitor, and he opened the door and he took care of us for 6 years. Then I moved to Central, and I was there for junior and senior high. And if you were there, you were part of the community, because the community came to absolutely everything we did. And if you had musical talent, then you were in the civic orchestra. His talent, but as my mother always said, you're fortunate, you've got enough talent to try it out and appreciate those that got it. And that has been a real blessing. So though I started out talking about reflecting in the efforts and the glories of others, like the wonderful board at the senior center, all donating their time to recreate what we had, this one I accept with pride. It's mine. I came from District 206. They're my roots. The class of 48 and myself, there we go, you bet. And I thank you, and I thank my fellow people.
as we wrap up this afternoon, I'd just like to bring your attention, there's some flyers on your table, and this is just about our upcoming event. Well, I shouldn't say upcoming, it's a little ways off, but if you could mark your calendars, we will be having an Ed Talk coming up in January. We're very excited about that. The foundation is putting that on, and we're excited to welcome back Dr. James Williscroft. As you may have noticed by looking around the room, our Jeans and Jewels event is this evening from 6:30 to 9:30. The Jeans and Jewels is an annual event that we hold as a thank you to all foundation contributors, but it is open to the public, and it is a fundraising event for the foundation. Members should have received tickets and guest